Oh, it's Monifa Harris. Hi, 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 hi. So I wanted to jump on real quick because I know that the workshop's coming up very quickly. So we are actually doing our first part of Vocal Alchemy workshop in Porterville on Saturday. So this is the first one on the 25th. The second one will be on June 1st. So, that first one is about healing and the second one is manifestation. And really, we're going to be working on the same practice, Oman's method. What you first need to know is that vocal alchemy is not singing. Okay. Can you sing as a vocal alchemist? Yes, you can, but it's not necessary and it's not what we're going to be doing at these workshops. What we're going to be doing is finding out the core, the power of our voices, how to tap into it, how do we tune into it, how do we use it effectively as we choose, right? So, why do we get nervous? Why do the things that we say sometimes we think we're saying them clearly, but somebody confuses them or doesn't understand them? Why, when we have ideas, sometimes they understand them and they will go along with it. And a lot of times they're like, okay, yeah, and they totally didn't hear you. Somebody else has the exact same idea and they get the credit. Has that ever happened? So these are things that are basically just about how effective are we being when we are using our voices. And so it's a fun thing. Hi, hi, hi. So it's going to be fun. Yes, we're going to learn about our bodies and our voices, how to be more impactful when we're speaking and or singing. So for the singers too. But it's mostly about learning how your body gets connected when we are speaking, what our energy is doing, how do we consciously use it. Okay, so it's not going to be even though we're going to talk about energy, this is not something that you can't grasp, right? That's the problem, I think, when we're just talking about chakras and the energy body and the auric field, and we're just talking about them theoretically. I know it's going to be so fun, right? But that's nice, but that doesn't tell you how to use it to improve your life, right? Well, vocal alchemy is about how to use it to improve your life. How do we know what's going on so we can use it to improve our life? When we're more effective in communication, we have better relationships, we have more affect at work, we have more effect with our audience if we're speaking to more than one person, right? So it's a lot about that, but it's also about energy. So if you're intuitive, if you're empathic, and you haven't had a lot of that information about like, how do I deal with crowds? How, when I'm so sensitive, can I even think, much less speak the right words, much less speak them effectively, right? This is that information. It's a lot of the stuff that we were never told about our bodies, our voices, and our energy. And so, yeah, the more we do with this work, the more that we can consciously use our energy, that we don't have to be flustered and scared every time we go out in public. So you don't have to be an introvert by default, right? You can choose to be an introvert, which I do choose to be an introvert. I just feel like I like being alone better. But some of us are introverted because we don't know how to deal with our energy when we're in public, right? We get really sensitive really quickly. We get maybe emotional about things really quickly. We have a hard time tracking other people, or people have a hard time tracking us, have a hard time keeping track of our thoughts and what we really want to say, get lost in our conversation, right? A lot of that is just because we don't know how to manage our own energy, and we have a lot of it. If you're empathic, hey, if you're empathic, if you are sensitive, if you are somebody who is also neurodivergent. So neurodivergence is another point. I really think a lot of these are kind of the same. Basically, our brains work a little differently. We, energy, or more sensitive to energy, so we're picking up on it, but we weren't told how to read it, so we can't read it well, so it confuses us. So we get more foggy in public. We get more foggy about, having the linear conversations because that's not how our minds work. But we can choose to speak linearly if we have a good understanding of our energy and our voices. But yeah, I'm the same way because my voice and my our voices do work in spirals and breath and flow and cycles. It's a lot of what I like to talk about as well. We're learning how vibration is happening when we learn how our voices are happening. And as we know, vibration, if you want to know the secrets of the world, right? You think in terms of frequency and vibration. And that's why I think voice is such important work. It makes that physical, right? Hello, hello. I'm so glad you joined me. Oh, you're autistic. Okay. And glad I'm not the only one. Hello from England. Hi, hi, hi. So this is what's important because yeah, neurodivergence. If we're on the spectrum, I have a lot of clients on the spectrum. I probably am. I've never been tested. I don't know. But that's one of the reasons why I like to keep my headset on because it helps me stay focused because I have really sensitive hearing. And so when I am hearing things down the street around the corner and I'm supposed to be focusing on my work, I'm in my office, then it's hard to get things done, right? But that's what happens a lot of times with neurodivergence and sensitivities. A lot of people that are highly empathic, highly sensitive, have neurodivergence, and because it's part of how you're picking up on so much energy, right? It's the brain houses the thing that your body and your personality and your thoughts are doing, right? So yeah, a lot of us are undiagnosed. If you're anything like me, like if you're a little older, we didn't get tested for anything, especially girls and especially, POC, people that may not have as much attention, so marginalized communities, this kind of thing. It's really, most of us aren't diagnosed, right? So what we really are doing is we're learning just how to, in general, deal with the amount of information we're absorbing. Stay present, stay connected, stay impactful so that we can connect to others and so we can share what we are here to share in the world, right? Like, I don't know about you guys, but if it's all about just paying the next bill, for me, that's not good enough, right? But if we just do one step at a time towards our vision, what we really want to do in the world, how we want to impact the world, how we want to change the world, it starts with ourselves. We have to be able to get that vision out of our brain and body and out into the world so we can build community and support and love around it, right? So that's really that first step. And as long as we're making those small steps every day, we're going to feel purposeful. We're going to be more happy, right? Like if we keep thinking, oh, like cool things in the world only happen for neuronormative people, right? Like if only normal people who don't have energy problems, right, or empath problems or highly sensitive problems get to change the world, then we see a world that way it is now. We see a world that doesn't understand how to be sensitive to our environment, to each other, and our communities, right? Like that's the world we're living in because we haven't had enough of our life, our voice, our presence, our thoughts, the way we want things to be, how we desire people to be living. That is not voiced out in the world as much as the other version. Get more money, get more land, get more cars, whatever the fun thing is to say for for typical traditional patriarchal you know how that goes. But yeah, like that's what we're looking at. We're looking at, do we want to let that be the loudest voice wins? Because it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be louder to be heard. You have to be more present. You have to be in your energy and you have to be connected in a way that allows that to be transmitted to others. Okay, so this is the first step of that. Vocal Alchemy Part 1. It's happening. First workshop in live, or I don't know, in person. It'll be at Mother Earth's Gems. That's why I tagged them. So if you don't know where it is, it's in Porterville, California, and it is downtown on Main Street. It is 125 Main Street. That's what I remember. And I don't know what the rest of it. I think that's all you need to know. And it's you can get your tickets there. You can call ahead for your tickets so we know how many to seat. Some we had a date that we had to change, and some people came that we weren't expecting, so we weren't able to get the news out to them that the shop wasn't going to be open after all, and so they came out, from other cities even, and so just make sure you get your ticket beforehand so that you can get all the news about what's going on. If anything emergency happens, we can contact you and let you know, right? So, yeah, so that's something that you want to go ahead and do. Is $25 for this Saturday and then next Saturday on June 1st as well. Okay, and it's well worth it. I'm going to start off the class with like two major things that we are going to understand about how to connect and think about and be aware of our bodies. That is going to totally shift that brain fog, that getting lost in conversation thing. It's really two exercises by themselves will change your life. I promise. Okay, it'll change your life. I have people that go from completely being nervous and anxious and overwhelmed, just having that not being able to go to sleep at night. Now, that can be a problem with a lot of energy around too. I think that's something that I'm continually working on as well. But it's easier when we can do the work to work with our physiology to calm down our nervous system, and that's what the method will do as well. So it's really good for so many different kinds of people. So yeah, those two exercises are really impactful. Well, I guess it's more than two. Well, the first exercise is just one. It's a one-step exercise. There's a little bit of an awareness mindset thing that we're going to do, and then we're going to do that as a physical exercise. So you're going to feel it in the body. That's why I like to call this alchemy. There's a lot of reasons. There's a lot of levels to vocal alchemy because I have the online course that goes into even more things. But yeah. Hi, Ahija, you want to come on? Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you come on and see what happens. Why not? Let's see what happens. And the second one is Oman's vocal resonance method. That's the one that I developed myself from a combination of vocal technique as a singer. If anybody doesn't know that I was an opera singer. And she says, they say, worry no more, because the cure of that health problem here is that disease. Oh, so we have somebody who does cures and herbal remedies. Put an end to that HSV1. I see. Well, yeah, so that's the thing. Like, I think, nervous system regulation is one of the bottom line things to most health problems as well, right? Like, have you ever seen somebody that is sick and not being able to, like, they can't track things in their spatial environment even? Again, a lot of the things that are long-term diseases that start with just not being synchronous in your own body. That's where we talk about heart-mind coherence, and then we talk about heart-mind digestive coherence, right? That's a healthy body is coherent in that way. And our first, I guess the first or second exercise that we're going to do is going to get that vagus nerve, which is what's attached to those different areas through your neurological system. Immediately it's going to tap into that. It's going to synchronize that vagus nerve system. It's going to start toning it. So you're going to immediately feel calmer. You're going to immediately feel more focused. And then there's going to be, again, another version that is going to be something that you can just do, have a mindset to do, and do right before you speak. And it's really useful too. I mean, it's going to shift your whole life, honestly. But that's what I wanted to say. I wanted to just remind folks that we're doing the Vocal Alchemy Workshop in Porterville live, part 1 and 2. One is this Saturday as healing. Two is next Saturday as manifestation. So once we use those exercises, we're going to start applying them to something that we want to shift, whether that's our health this Saturday or that's our life and circumstance will be next Saturday, right? And so that's going to be super fun. If you didn't know, that I'm also doing an online event that is starting tomorrow. It's going to be at 5:30, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. So that event is called The Art of Being a Gracious Diva. So that is going to be really about getting our visions out into the world. What does it take to support your vision? Why we're not going to make it um, something we get to later. That's like most common conversation that I have with creatives and singers and beautiful, beautiful feminine representatives um, out there is that they just are so much in the heart of giving. They're constantly giving. They're constantly making other people's ideas happen. And it's time for us to bring our own vision out there. Remember what I said in the beginning, right? If our voices aren't out there, if our visions for the world aren't out there, then it becomes dominated by the loudest person in the room, the guy with the most money, the flashiest, right? The one that can put everything in their little linearities, right? And there's no love, there's no heart, there's no connection, there's no making space for earth, right? So yeah, that's what we're going to be talking about at the Art of Gracious Diva, how to be a gracious diva, how to take the leadership role for your vision and prioritize the work that you're here to do in the world so that we can have the world that we want to live in. That is what the Art of Gracious, the Art of Being a Gracious Diva is about. So I'll see you online. Up until then, if you want to get to know me a little bit more before you come out on Saturday to see me at the Mother Earth's Gems. I hope I said that right the first time. Mother Earth's Gems is downtown Porterville. And so hopefully I see you on Saturday. And until then, please do join us at the Art of Gracious Diva event starting tomorrow evening. I will see you then. Have a great rest of your day, guys. I'll see you next time. So I'm going to turn this off.